This morning on ITV on independent television. Well, when you hear that sound, and of course you see those visuals, you know that it is the program this morning on ITV. So it's almost like a curtain raiser for you to know that the program is on. Today is Wednesday, and it is a very big opportunity that you made it through. My name is Evan Sunokugie, and always not alone on this program. My co-uncles are always right there. Well, I've got Messalina and Patricia in Lagos, and also Tolulokbe in Abuja. So as the program goes on, you're going to be seeing them so that we look around and see how we can discuss on issues and see how the country can be better for you and I. But our major talking points from Benin today, that's Edo State. We're going to be looking at what seems to be very, very historical in Edo State now. I mean, let's say a new government now, almost a year old. By 12th of next month, that's on the 12th of November, Senator Modo would have successfully done the first 1 year in office. But what seems to be historical about his administration is the expansion of the executive, that he has. I mean, for the very first time, we have almost about 27, 28 ministries in the state cabinet. So big kudos, some people are saying, and some persons are saying that maybe, it's just trying to create job for the boys. That's, what some are saying. For us in the media, we always try to look at the issues from various sides. And above it all, at the end of the day, we let you get informed so that you make your choice and you make your conclusion for yourself. So today we're going to be having a special advisor on media communications to the executive governor of the state, so that he tells us what is really going on, and is it a necessity now that we have expansion of the state executive, or is just a mere repetition, like what I said a while ago by some people making some comments in some quarters. So we're going to be discussing along that today on the program this morning on ITV from our Benin Network Center. Then also too, just yesterday we saw a series of talks, the way food items seems to be crashing down. The prices of food items seems to be crashing down in the Nigerian markets. I mean, you go to some markets in Benin, with about 55,000, 60,000, you can get a bag of rice, as against, some few months ago when it was about from 70,000 and all that. So that also spans into the prices of other commodities in our various markets. So it is very obvious that the prices of food commodities are coming down, and big kudos to the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But what some are saying is that while we are having the prices of food items coming down, the economy seems to be harsher. So what is responsible for all this? Well, this will be another talking point, on the program today. By the time I bring my co-anchors into the show, so that we'll discuss this and look at it from various, various spectrum of the society to see how it's happening. Well, I have some of my co-anchors now, and I have Lagos, where Messalina and of course Patricia, the two ladies are right there. Ladies, a very good morning to you. You're welcome to the program this morning on ITV. All right, I have to Tolokbe. Tolokbe, very good morning to you.
A wonderful morning to you right there. So good to be with you this morning, and also looking at some of the things you mentioned, and also looking at what we'll be looking at from the Abuja Network Studio. We'll definitely be looking at the call by major stakeholders asking the governors to upscale and also to deliver the dividend of democracy to the masses. Right there is becoming a major thing right now. Not forgetting recently the APC chairman talking about that, and also the PDP asking their governors to also deliver on the dividend of democracy. And this is also coming in the light of increase in fact sharing. And a lot of people are asking the governors, what are you doing with the money? And they said the focus should not be on the center. Rather, the governors should be accountable to their people. What is the problem? A lot of economists have been trying to really analyze this. That's why the increase in fact sharing. They also talked about the role of inflation in the scheme of things. But in the middle of all this, are the governors delivering on the dividend of democracy? With the case study of Anambra State coming into question right now, as they are looking towards the polls, questions have been asked about the dividends of democracy being delivered by the governors, by the governor of Anambra State. And that is also coming to the light that what is happening across the length and breadth of this country concerning governors living up to expectations. Are people asking the right questions? Are we putting the governors to task? And especially when you put into consideration what is happening in other Western world, how people are tasking their leaders to be up and running. Are we also doing that? Are we also doing that in Nigeria? These are some of the questions we'll be asking this morning, as I'll be having an economist joining me in the course of the program from the Abuja Network studio to deliberate on this, and also looking at ways to really be able to put to task the governors of different states across the country. And that's what we'll be looking at from the Abuja Network studio. Back to you.
All right, so thank you so much to Lokbe there. And I have Joshua in Lagos. Joshua, a very good morning. Now, Joshua, I started by, noticing that the prices of food commodities seems to be crashing down in markets in Nigeria. But analysts are of the opinion that while the price of commodities are coming down, the economy seems to be, getting harsher, by the day. I don't know how we can really put all this together, pari passu, just as the English speakers would say.
Good morning to you, Mr. Andrew. Evans, I may say, and of course, Tolulokwe over there in Abuja. And of course, I have my co-anchor in the person of Patricia Gabriel Spatz. Good morning.
Good morning, Josh. We're going to be talking about the crash of food, like Evans wants us to do.
Of course, and talking about the issue you just raised, it's quite imperative, to see that the cost of food commodities in the market right about now, as you said, is quite declining. But of course, on the other end of it, people are still finding it difficult to be able to afford this food. And like you said, it's more like saying that you're giving someone something from the right hand and using the left hand to get it back. It's quite ironic, but of course it is what we see. And given the fact that food commodities are on the decline, it's another thing for us to be able to see people being able to afford those food. We are living in a situation where it's either a 0-1-0 or 0-0-1 situation. But until we begin to see where the cost of living, especially when it comes to people being able to afford these food items and are able to eat this food as at when they want to, then we'll just be talking about food declining. And of course, looking at what we have from our Lagos Network studio, we'll be looking at an investigation which have been called up by the House of Reps to look into the disbursement and the implementation of grants issued by FIFA and CAF to the tune of $25 million, which, looking at what they see on ground, is quite a far cry from what the expectation is. So we'll be looking at this issue critically when it comes to the issue of accountability and transparency when it comes to public funds being handed over to ministries of government or parastatals, as the case may be, and what the case will be like going forward. Because as we have it now, issues that has to do with the disbursement of funds is in a question mark, especially when it comes to public office holders, and the issue of how much of a sincerity, as the case may be, that Nigerians will be looked upon by the rest of the world is something that we just have to justify, because going forward we might not be able to get funds as at when we expected because of issue of accountability and trust. So these are some of the issues we'll be looking at with our guest who is right on hand to expatiate more on this issue from our Lagos Network Center.
All right, so Patricia, let's bring you into the conversation too. The issue of trust in Nigeria is something that all of us we must be concerned about. I mean, today we understand that the new service chiefs are going to be before the National Assembly to preside the Senate. So, I think they are going to be asked questions and all that for clearance and all that. Now, at this point of our lives in the country, the issue of insecurity has become so worrisome, very, very worrisome in almost, the whole parts of the country. In Edo State here where I live, in Benin City, you hear all sort of gamut of complaints, kidnappers here and there. I mean, there is the one that is trending now, how about 20 million naira was paid, for ransom. And even the police authority in Edo State had to make a press statement to that effect. What is really going on in our country, Patricia?
Well, thank you, Evans. It's been a sad story all along. We see all the videos, the stories of how people are being kidnapped and ransoms are asked of. In fact, yesterday I saw a video of how a man was kidnapped, and then I think the video leaked somehow. It was a telephone conversation between the kidnappers and the man's wife, where they were demanding that she should make up the money to 20 million, and she said to them, I have sold everything that I have, I'm still trying to put the monies together. And then the man was on the phone on the other side and was crying. He was actually pleading, help me. He was begging the wife because they are going to kill me. It's so sad because I don't know if it's just the citizens that are seeing these videos and the government don't see the videos, because if they do, they should be able to put themselves together to fight this insecurity. But anyways, the president has changed the security staffs, and we expect that maybe new reforms will come in that aspect. Maybe they will put new ideas to be able to curb this crime.
Thank you so much, Patricia, there. Now, Tolu, just before we hand it down to Inolata Nusakai, the security situation in Abuja, how is it like, Tolu?
Yeah, really issues concerning so many things happening right there, just like you mentioned, and also looking at the recent fall and the crash in the price of goods is generating a whole lot of interest right there. Though I've not really been able to feel the effect back home because the money I keep giving has not reduced. But let's hope that things will definitely improve in the coming days. But it's been a subject of discussion. A lot of people, what is really happening right there? Is there an increase in production that is leading to this, or probably a different thing entirely right there? But we'll hopefully in the coming days we'll be able to come to terms with what is happening right there, talking about the crash and the prices of food right there. But we hope that things can really improve, definitely get better for people, because one thing that people should be readily be able to afford, it definitely has to do with the prices of utilities, things that they need to be able to do daily. That is very, very key and it's critical for any administration. And if that can really happen, that will go a long way in ameliorating the condition of people right there. And also, the purchasing power will be quite commendable for me.
All right, thank you so much, Tolu, there. So we take a short pause now so that we bring the corporate trainer himself, talking about Idwagata Nusakai, so that he trains you for today. And one good thing about what he says is that you can apply. You can actually apply everything he says into everything and all things that you do for your day. So let's take a short pause now so that we bring Idwagata Nusakai on the program this morning.
Inwarata no Sahai is still my amiable name. I'm always delighted, excited to come your way every Wednesday since the last 15 years and 8 months to add value to your day. And this morning, we are continuing our series on soft skills, and our focus is on 4 ways soft skills prevent negative silence. 4 ways soft skills prevent negative silence. Now, negative silence in teams or in the workplace is a situation whereby team members are not communicating. Nobody is sharing ideas. Nobody is making contribution. Nobody is countering anything that team leaders are saying. And at the end of the day, it appears, that there is silence. It appears that there is peace. But in such a situation, innovation is dead. Creativity is dead. And soft skills, which are relational competencies or driving workplace productivity, is the antidote to negative silence. And this morning, like I said, we are looking at 4 ways soft skills prevent negative silence. Now, the first way that soft skills prevent negative silence is that soft skills prevent negative silence by creating a safe emotional workplace climate. It prevents negative silence by creating a safe emotional workplace climate. Now, a safe emotional workplace climate is that workplace environment or workplace climate whereby team members feel heard, they feel listened to, they feel understood, they feel trusted, and they feel respected. And as a result of this, they find it difficult, to speak. They find it difficult to make suggestions. They find it difficult to also, contribute their own quota in terms of expressing their views, opinions, and perspective to the advancement of the team, thereby, preventing negative silence. Remember, negative silence stifles growth. Negative silence is a situation whereby nobody is talking, everybody just keep quiet, and at the end of the day, it appears peaceful, like I said earlier on, but creativity and innovation have been short-circuited, and everything just remain, on the same level, which at the end of the day may even boomerang to, the graph just going down the slope. So it must be prevented, and that is why we are looking at 4 ways soft skills prevent negative silence. The first one, I said, soft skills prevent negative silence by creating a safe emotional workplace climate. Then the second way that soft skills prevent negative silence is by ensuring clarity in communication. Ensuring clarity in communication. Now, communication is the #1 soft skills that every leader must possess in driving productivity in the work environment. Now, when there is clarity in communication, ambiguity is, avoided. And when ambiguity is avoided, what that will translate to is that team members will find it easy to synchronize and align with team goals and team objectives. And that also resonates into team members giving valuable feedback that will help, advance the team forward. And that means that negative silence has been prevented. The third way that soft skills prevent negative silence is by building trust and mutual respect. Now, in an environment where there is soft skills, you are going to see a situation whereby, people have value for one another despite, their rank, despite their position. Everybody respects one another. There is mutual respect. And this mutual respect for one another creates an emotional, balance that makes people to find it easy to contribute their, their views, their perspective, their opinions. Creates an emotional stability that makes people to also be able to bring their own suggestions to the table without fear of being shamed for it, even when, the idea seems not to be a good one, without fear, of being psychologically, hit on it. So it is very important that we take this seriously. We are looking at 4 ways soft skills prevent negative silence. The first one, as a soft skills prevent negative silence by creating a safe emotional workplace climate. Then secondly, by ensuring clarity in communication. Thirdly, I said, by building trust and mutual respect. Then the fourth one, which is the concluding one, is that soft skills prevent negative silence by embracing new perspectives. Now, when team members know that their views, their opinions, their ideas, suggestions are valued, they will want to speak, and then negative silence is prevented. Now, negative silence is not something that should be tolerated. Don't be happy as a team leader, as a team head, when your people are just keeping quiet and they are not making suggestions. You are the one losing out. You know, no man is an island. You don't know it all. And you need to create a work environment, you know, create an atmosphere that will make it easy for people to come up with their suggestions, come up with their views, create that emotional stability that will make people to want to also add value to the growth and advancement of the organization. And that, at the end of the day, we just ensure that the growth trajectory is moving upward. I believe that lots of value have been added to your day-to-day. As you want to, as you always love to reach me, you know, my contacts are available. My email, inuarata@gmail.com. Send your questions, send your feedback, and then also, you know, I'm able to send a response back to you, and we're able to build a better business, so you build a better workplace, and build a better nation, and even a better world for ourselves. That's my email right there on the screen, inuarata@gmail.com. Send your inquiries, send your questions, and then we're able to take things to the next level. I'll be seeing you next week, Wednesday. And when I return, I will say, remember, amiable. Inuarata no Sahai. Your day is so blessed. Thank you.
ITV, certainly the best. 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 ITV, certainly the best.
All right, thank you one more time. The program still on your television this morning on ITV. And I did say that we are going to be looking at the expansion of the Edo State Executive in government. I mean, this government in Edo State, very, very historical, right from, you know, for more than 30 years of the life and time of Edo State. It is the first time that we are seeing that about 28 ministries so far in Edo State. Well, to look at all this this morning, we are so privileged to have a special advisor to the state governments on media, communications, and strategy, Mr. Goswill Inegbe. So, welcome to the program this morning on ITV.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. So I'll personally thank you. I mean, despite a very tight schedule, you found time to come on the program today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Now, let's start from what seems to be a major concern before we, you know, delve into the expansion of the State Executive Council. I mean, the issue of security. There are opinions from some, you know, sectors of the state that the governor is perhaps, you know, leaving the security of lives and property to campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2027 presidential election. How correct is that?
People has rights to their opinion. The fact remains that this governor is tackling insecurity with every sense of commitment, and this governor, since he came on board, has initiated strategies, security-wise, in order to cope the insecurity challenge that we are facing as a nation, not just as a state. The insecurity crisis is not peculiar to Edo State alone. It's not even peculiar to Nigeria as a nation. It's a global challenge. It's a global phenomenon. And the governor is doing so much in ensuring that lives and property in Edo State, they are safer than how he made them. For someone to insinuate that the governor, who is invited by his own colleague to come and commission project, as we speak right now, the governor is going to is on an en route to the project site in the Ekiti State, where his colleagues invited him to come and commission. So he is carrying out national assignments. And that does not tantamount to the fact that he has abandoned the state. You know, sometimes when people wake up in the morning and make some fleeting statements, yeah. You know, for us, they are speaking on the standpoint of ignorance, with all due respect to their opinion. But that's the fact.
Yeah, but I think you may not blame people, because the strategies that the Edo State governor seems to be putting in place seems not to be yielding results. I mean, there's the current issue that we are following in Edo State. I mean, the one that happened a few days ago, you know, air routes, the Akure Road, whereby travelers were apprehended, kidnapped, and we understand that a particular one, you know, that they paid the sum of 20 million naira to the kidnappers. You know, so when people say this, that the security arrangement in Edo State seems not to be optimally looked at, don't you think they are right?
First and foremost, I am not aware of any rap song of the sum of 20 million naira be paid. So 20 million naira be paid. And secondly, I quickly want to, you know, with all due respect, disagree with you that the strategy of the governor or the government is regarding coupling insecurities. Not
me. What people are saying.
Please, yeah, I'm just trying to also react to, because you said it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the route you just referenced is boundary between Ondo State and Edo State. And don't forget that it has to do with collaborative effort between the two states to mount, to secure the boundary that you know, between the two states. And that incident I just referenced, as I speak right now, of course, when I'm on live television talking about things like this, as a government, we try to speak truth to what is reality on the ground, and not to come to television and preach propaganda. This governor, as is known today, in not just in Edo State, in Nigeria, is someone who does not play to the gallery. He's someone who does not dwell in political propaganda just to achieve cheap popularity. He's a governor who is genuinely committed to serving Edo people and delivering the mandate that was given to him by the good people of Edo State. So I said that to say this. The issue of security, the intervention of these governors as he came on board is there for everybody to see. And don't forget that there is no solving insecurity challenges is not a rocket science.
Yeah, the intervention seems to be problematic itself.
Let me land my thoughts, sir. Thank you so much. The point I'm making is that as a government, this governor is doing everything to ensure that lives and property are safer in Edo State. I don't want to go back to how we met it. When he came on board, what he met on ground. We don't want to talk about those ones. We are talking about what he's doing. And I can assure you that in no distance time, some of these challenges we are facing will become history as far as the state is concerned. So the governor has invested so much. In fact, I stand to be corrected. I stand to be challenged that this governor has invested in ensuring, of course, in the security sector than any governor that ever governed the state. Yeah, the records are there.
Yeah, but let's look at it from another dimension now. Now, personally, I appreciate the state governor. I mean, the intervention of the vigilante group in the states is laudable, but that seems to be another problem itself. I mean, perhaps the governor may not be aware the seeming nature of the nuisance that seems that people say it seems to pose to members of the public. I mean, almost all major streets in Benin, you find them, in company with the police officials. As some of them are alleged to be constituting nuisance to members of the public, motorists and all that, asking for money, and that further heighten the insecurity issues in the state. Perhaps you may not be aware, or maybe the state governor himself is not aware.
In every human organization, when you have a leader who, as in the case of the governor of those states that we're talking about today, has been able to have that idea of bringing in an organization that has to do with security. And this organization is populated by human beings. The governor cannot be in the mindset of those individuals. It's just, for instance, under security agencies today, that people have a lot of complaint towards the manner in which they carry out their responsibilities. The fault is not from, for instance, at the national level, from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in the case of Edo State, the governor of Edo State. So the point I'm making is this: in every human organization, the challenges of having some bad eggs among such organizations exist.
Now, we understand that in the media, we understand that some of these guys are being profiled. Now, the question that we asked to that effect is that how long is the state government going to profile them? I mean, there are allegations how some of them are constituting nuisance. So members of the public are disturbed to know for how long will the state government profile them.
I'm not aware that the state government has state profile. Those people, they went to, if you have followed the process of recruitment and training, they spent over 2 weeks in a training camp, and they were trained by service generals and retired generals in the Nigerian Army. And after that, they were dispatched to their primary area of assignment. And as I said before, of course, in organization manned by human beings, there is bound to be some few individuals that are, so to say, to be bad eggs. As I said, it does not just exist only in this case that we are discussing. It happens in every organization. But what I can assure you is that most time, some of these complaints by the public, which they have right to, when you take our time to investigate, to ascertain genuinely what really happened, you'll find out that you have a different perspective towards the narrative that was peddled. So the point is this: the governor will do all it takes to ensure that the interests of the Edo people are always protected and projected.
Okay.
And some of these challenges we, all the people are talking about, as I've always referred, we should not forget the fact that the governor has barely spent 1 year in office. Sometimes when people are analyzing issues surrounding this administration, or rather assessing the governor, they will be speaking as if this governor has spent 4 years in the office. This is a governor who has spent barely 1 year in office, and he has done so much. The facts speak for itself. You don't need to campaign about it, because what he has done, what he has achieved in less than a year in office is there for everyone to see.
Okay.
And they speak for itself.
All right, so away from that now, the issue of the historical realization that we have today in terms of the fully constituted executive council of the states. As we speak now, we have a full government in Edo State because we have a full-fledged executive council. I mean, all the commissioners have been duly inaugurated. So far, we have about 28 of them. Very historical because we've never had it in the history of Edo State. But you tell us right now, because people are also trying to ask the question, is this a necessity or just a kind of a mere repetition? As this discussion progresses, we go through the various ministries, and some persons are asking a question. Some of the ministries are repetitive in nature and in scope. So is this a necessity or just a repetition? I mean, the expansion of the scope of the State Executive Council.
What the governor did is not just expansion of the State Executive Council. Look, let me situate it the way things are. Because as I said before, people bound to have misinterpretation when they don't have the facts. These are the facts. What the governor did is a comprehensive restructuring of the ministries that were existing and a revival of the defunct ones. Today, the governor's vision for the state is encapsulated in a acronym called SHINE.
The Shine Agenda.
The SHINE Agenda. SHINE, as spelled, X stands for security.
Okay.
H, health. I, infrastructure. Of course. N, nutrition cum agriculture. Then E, education. Now, the governor, for him to realize his vision, encapsulated his SHINE agenda, there was a need for a seamless alignment towards that vision, which has to do with comprehensive restructuring of the existing ministry and revival of the defunct ones. So what the governor simply did is, of course, to have a proper coordination of ministries that were existing.
Okay.
And also help in administrative efficiency.
Beautiful. I'll pause you there because we need to take this break now. The program is still this morning on ITV. And our special guest this morning is Mr. Godswill Inegbe, the senior, special advisor on media project and strategy to the Edo State government. So we're looking at the expansion of the State Executive Council, very historical in Edo State. Please stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
All right, thank you one more time. The program's still on your television this morning on ITV, and we still have Mr. Gosuli Negbe here, the special advisor.
It's the reform of the comprehensive restructuring is also mirrored towards the federal level, or rather the structure at the federal level for the alignment with Mr. President.
Why is the governor so interested in what is happening at the federal level? I mean, there are three tiers of government. You have the federal government, the state government, and of course the local government. I mean, some would say that at every specific level of government, there should be some level of sovereignty. So why do you think the government is so interested in what's happening?
The sub-national, at this state, or at this level, they are called states, or sub-national. If you look at the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you'll find out that no state can actually today in our nation exist in isolation. That's why we have the central government.
Okay.
Now, in regards to the case we are discussing, at the federal level, you have, if you look at the list of the restructured and revived ministries, the 28 ministries now, you find out that it aligns with the structure at the federal level. And that will help the states to benefit more. Programs, initiatives, and activities that the federal government are engaging that align with the Mr. President's Renew Hope agenda, it will be easy to be domesticated in the state, because at the state level we have the same structure that is mirrored like at this federal level. So it has nothing to do with being subservient, so to say.
Or with politics.
Or with politics. It's for the purpose of administrative efficiency, proper coordination, and of course for to help the governor to deliver on his mandate for Edo people.
Okay. All right, so we're so privileged to have the list of the newly inaugurated ministries and their commissioners. So to further buttress this discussion this morning, we have Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy. That the commissioner for that has not been listed. He's still pending, but we have the ministry already created. Then we have the Minister of Works, Honorable Dr. Felix Higwese Ahabue, while the Minister of Mining, Honorable Andrew Ijukbai, Minister of Information and Strategy, Prince Kazim Afegwa. Then the Minister of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Paul Nusayaba Ohombamo, while the Minister of Business, Trade and Investment goes to Omo Anabo. Then the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Jerry Owangwe. And also too, we have Minister of Livestock Development, Professor Omo Dion Ignatius Ikpomusa. And others include the Minister of Environment and Sustainability, Honorable Barrister Nusa T. Adams, the Minister of Health, Dr. Cyril Adams Oshomole, the Minister of Education, Dr. Emmanuel Padi Iyamu, the Minister of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development goes to Dr. Loki Esegbe, and the Minister of Lands and Housing, Honorable Yakubu Oshere Noah Musa JP, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Ohimai Hijameto. Then also we have the Minister of Science and Technology, Honorable Etionsa Ogbewi, Minister of Water Resources, Sanitation, Dr. Washington Osa Osifo, And the Minister of Youth Affairs goes to Honorable Charity Amanyaru. Minister of Women Affairs, Eugenia Abdullah. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Barrister Mary Olabisi Idaomi. Then the Minister of Power, Honorable Barrister Osembo Paul Ehigie. Minister of Oil and Gas Resources, Barrister Vincent Osawadia. Then the Minister of Finance goes to Engineer Emmanuel Okwebo. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Dr. Elizabeth Ebusele. Then the Minister of Transportation, Honorable Saturday Uwilekwe Idehen JP. Minister of Justice, Professor Roland Itoya Otaru SAN. The Minister of Labor and Productivity, Godwin Afekhoi Eshieshe. And the Minister of Special Duties goes to Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations goes to Honorable Barrister Kenneth Okoruwa Ihesenke. Then the last, but certainly not the least, the Minister of Public Security and Safety goes to Abia Festus Edianose. Now, Mr. Goswell, the very first one is still pending. Why is it pending?
Well, Mr. Governor is looking into the ministry. As I said before, some of these ministries were defunct, and the governor is putting on initiative to revive. Because it's not just enough for you to create a ministry, it's for the ministry to be operational, not to be docile, so to say. So the governor is looking into it personally. If you know art and culture, today Edo State is a state that when you talk to culture, he leads the path. And the governor wants to ensure that our cultural heritage is properly projected to the world. And for you to do that, you have to get the best ideas in such ministry, and of course bring the best hands to handle it. So in other words, the Ministry of Agriculture is going to be kind of the gateway to our culture, to our tradition, and to our...
Now, the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy now seems to be a repetition, or let me say the Ministry of Chieftaincy Title Affairs seems to be a repetition of Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy. I mean, in some other governments where we've had all these, things lumped in one ministry, and perhaps if you go through all that, you will see similar activities, but different nomenclature.
Can I quickly react to that?
Yes.
The Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy is not a repetition of the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. The Ministry of Chieftaincy Affairs, Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, deals with the local governments across the states. And the other layers of it, which is the Chieftaincy Affairs, has to do with the traditional rulers. If you are conservative with the extant laws in our states, you find out that the traditional rulers, according to the law, they are more or less like staffs of the local government councils. And it is based on that the chieftaincy affairs layers of that ministry, or layer of that ministry, is attached to the ministry. So for the Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy, just as the ministry entails, of course, you and I know what, when you talk about culture, you know what it means when we're talking about culture. And when we talk about creative economy, today we're living in a world that creativity is the key to any economy. And art and culture has becomes another means where economy of a nation, of a state, is being promoted, in the sense that today art and culture brings a lot of funds in any economy.
Now, what about the Ministry of Livestock? You have one that is closely related. You have the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
Yes.
That's by Dr. Jerry Wangwe. Then you also have the Ministry of Livestock Development, Professor Omol John Ignatius Ikpamusa. I mean, livestock, agriculture, is it all the same thing?
Well, livestock is part of agriculture, but if you know, the agricultural sector is a very vast sector. And this issue of challenges with livestock, we have a history in this nation. When we deal with livestock, especially the cow rearers. You know, over time, we know you and I know the challenge we have in terms of that. What the government is trying to do here is that we have to have a proper ministry that can coordinate the operators. For instance, in this, it has to do with the business of livestock. And the governor's dreams and ideas for the state is to have a state whereby if you are doing a business, in the case of this, livestock is a business. And he is looking to a direction that in the process of doing your business, someone's rights and privileges or someone's business should not be disrupted. And the governor wants a situation whereby a seamless coordination is giving attention towards that direction. Because, as I said before, agriculture is a very vast sector. And sometimes the challenges of managing such sector is always seen in the activities of governance. And the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, wants this state to be a model to other states in Nigeria when these ministries are properly operational according to his vision as enshrined in the Shine Agenda.
Okay. All right. So as we wrap up now it took the governor almost a whole year. I mean, by 12th of next month, that's November 12th,
yes.
The governor would have done exactly 365 days.
Yes.
That's 1 year in office. Now
Yes.
it took him almost a whole year to have a full list of executive council. So that time, some analysts are expecting right now that, I mean, for a government that took almost a whole year to list his commissioners, eventually we'll have the commissioners and the ministries. So all those nuances and things we've been hearing in those states perhaps will stop. Like the issue of insecurity, that seems to be a major talking point that they will now stop. So are you going to assure us on this program today that now that we have a full-fledged government in Edo State, that most things that bother Edolites will stop?
Well, yes, of course. Before I react to the issue of the security, I want to quickly correct another impression. It didn't take the governor 1 year to name his commissioners. No, I'm coming there. What happened is this. When the governor came on board, he met a structure. Please, don't forget, I think I took our time to explain what the governor did. He made a structure that was highly uncoordinated. He made ministries that were default. So the governor, the moment he came on board, because he has a vision for the state, and for him to realize his vision for the state, he needs a proper structure. It's just like when you want to build a house, you need a proper foundation to erect the type of structure that you want to build for yourself. So when he came aboard, he needs a good, proper, coordinated structure. And that's the reason why he has to approve a comprehensive restructuring of the existing ministries and, of course, revival of the default ones. And that, of course, you know that it has to take some time and process. But the ones that were already okay, you are already aware, when he came on board, in fact, this governor, in the history of our state, is the governor that immediately he came on board, released the list of, even though it was not the comprehensive one, but he released the list of major appointments the very week he was sworn into office. So the point I'm making is this. The reason why today we're having the full cabinet is because when he came on board, some of these ministries needed to be restructured. And now, after the,
when you say
after the design,
how exactly do you mean?
Reform.
Reform.
Yes, that's another word for it. Strategic reform designed to align with the vision of Mr. Governor. Because he's the one that is carrying the vision. He's the one that has the ideas, what he wants to do for the state. And for him to achieve that, he needs a good foundation. He needs good ministries.
When you say reform now,
yes,
does it mean that, I mean, the ministries are not going to have a permanent secretary, they are not going to have a director?
The other paraphernalia
because we're talking about civil servants, I mean, that must have their positions.
It will be, they will be certainly there. You don't run ministry without civil servants now. They will certainly be there. You don't run ministries. Look, I really don't want to be pushed on what we met on ground. But since you are pushing, let me just give you just a kind of a little snippet inside it. What we made when we came is that what we've seen is that the former governor, they were running. He was mainly focused on agencies in the ministries. For instance, when you have
in other words, non-state actors.
No, exactly. He brought consultants.
We're running.
I didn't really want to go, but let's talk.
No, please
he brought,
because
yes,
these are the concerns of Edo people.
What we met is this: a situation whereby the former governor and brought in consultants. These consultants, they were in the ministries. What they did rather, is to look into some of the agencies. For instance, when you have Ministry of Health, look at the agencies like SUBEB, like State Secondary Education Board, and then out of the entire gamut of the ministry, you take out those agencies. You brought in consultants
to run
them. Then the civil servants were made redundant. You can investigate what I'm saying. Their civil service, they were practically not do anything. And there were serious complaints from there. But they couldn't, of course, civil servants, because of their job security, they couldn't just speak out. But they were redundant. They were not doing nothing. A ministry that has high numbers of civil servants, you see that 2 or 3 persons, consultants from Lagos, from River State, they were running such ministries. In ministries, there are structures. Agencies report. Okay, that's why I say I don't want to go into. But in ministries, you have agencies that report to the commissioners. Commissioner report to the governor. But what we meant is that these agencies, run by consultants, they do whatever they of course, whatever they did, report directly to the governor. Then the commissioner is just sitting there as a ceremonial head, and the civil servant, the PS, they go to the office and be watching television, doing nothing. Not by their own dictate, but the system, they were make redundant. So when the governor came, he said, no, you don't run government like this. It's not a limited liability company. Okay. It's government. Yeah. So he came and had to do comprehensive restructuring, reforms. That's why I told you, I used the word defunct ministry. I said that you asked me, why were there defunct ministries? Because they were not used.
All right, so we have to pause this discussion this morning. I know you are so loaded, but perhaps we're going to have another time, so that we can invite you more, so that we can attend to some of these issues. Because the issues are developing by the day, they are evolving by the day, and Edolites will keep on asking questions. And we hope when I call on you on this program again, you will oblige us. Yeah. Okay. So I want to say very, very thank you so much for coming on the program today. All right. So the program is still this morning on ITV, and we've been talking with Mr. Godswill Enegbe, the Special Advisor on Communications, Strategy, and Media Projects in Edo State, attending to the big question, the expansion of the state executive as it were today, whether it is a necessity or a mere repetition. So he has said that it's a necessity. Because of the need of the time, and also to further promote the shine agenda of Senator Monday Okpebholo in Edo State. All right, so we'll pause it here so that we'll bring another segment. But this time we're going to be going to my colleague in Abuja, Tolu Lokbe Oguntimehe. Tolu, a very good morning to you.
To you right there, really listening to the special advisor to the governor right there, talking about the front ministries right there. And let's hope they can be up and doing and be able to meet up with their responsibilities, because at this point in time, every agency of government must deliver. And talking about the agency of government, and we've taken a look at the recent FARC allocation and also the call on our governors to start to be up to speed and deliver the dividend of democracies to their people right there. And that also has been generating a whole lot of interest. Not forgetting recently the APC chairman also called on governors to continue to be up and doing. Same thing coming from the PDP. And joining me this morning to take a look at that is a business development expert and also an economist talking about that person, Dan Raji Kolawole. It's a pleasure to have you this morning.
Thank you, Tolu. Thank you for having me.
I know we always talk about this, talking about the FARC allocation increase. In the last 1 year, the tiers of government have gotten nothing less than over 2 trillion in FARC allocation that have been shared among themselves. Okay. But a lot of people have been saying people are not being feeling the impact of this. Recently, you have the APC chairman calling on the governors to deliver to their people. Are the governors not doing enough? Do you think the governors are living up to expectations? Or do you think the governors are seeing it as business as usual? Those us account for what we are doing in our state.
Okay, basically, there's a mismatch.
Okay.
Between what the government needs are and what the people needs are.
Okay.
It's also very important to put it in proper perspective. FAC allocation before subsidy removal to 1 trillion.
Yeah.
FAC allocation as of August this year was at an unprecedented high of 2.2 naira. So FAC allocation has grown by at least 200% in the last 2 years.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people will say that, oh, FX has increased. But the truth about it is that Nigeria still remains a naira economy. It is not a dollar economy. Yes, and other people might say that inflation has also affected it based on the fact that exchange rate has gone up. But the truth about it is that inflation has not gone as high as 200% in the past 4 years.
Okay.
Probably 10, 15%. And now it's even coming down.
Yeah.
The rate at which price levels are moving.
Yeah.
So you see the disparity. So the thing is that the governors have gotten more money. Now, when you ask me the question and say, are they doing enough? We look at 3 areas. The first one is new utilization. What are they used for? Is it capital expenditure or is it expenditure?
Yeah.
Most of the governors that we have, maybe the exception of Lagos State, use most of this FAC allocation for recurrent. So that's look at with so that business can invest in it more, doing increase. When you do that, IGR increase. Now let's look at also the outcomes of this FAC allocation that they get.
Yeah.
What are they? Are they using it? Their arms or poverty rates? Is it reducing? Full enrollment is it?
Devolution. Government, we have a station where the state are also getting their own allocation. In the time past, we hold the local government chairman responsible. But the way the politics are being practiced right now, democracy, most of the time, everything around the government. The local government chairman are also not being accountable for their failures. Now that the government, the President Bola Ahmed has been able to ensure that the local government gets their own direct allocation, how do we ensure that the local government also deliver?
Okay. So we all know. Okay, it's one of the things. Let me start like this. The people doing that,
Yeah.
doing that. And I asked a simple question. I said, most of these things about health, education, 70% of these infrastructures, are they in the hands of federal or are they in the hands of the states? Let's take education as an example.
Yeah.
Let's take a state like Oyo State.
Yeah.
How many schools? At least 80% of them.
Or even 90%.
It tells you that if you want education to improve in your state, the state has a lot to do. So all the
policy
to hold the states accountable. The states are getting trillions of naira, every month. What are they using it for? They need to be accountable and they need to be transparent. When last did any state produce a report on how FAC allocation was used? Maybe you get in Lagos State, but in other states, where is it?
But can states survive without FAC allocation?
That's a very big question. Now, can states survive? According to NATI, there was a report NATI brought out early this year. 30 states, their revenue, 73% of their revenue comes from FAC allocation. Now, this FAC allocation, when you say 70% of revenue, that's total. Now, mind you, this revenue is used for recurrent expenditure, it's used for capital expenditure, it's used for debt servicing. And we have already also stated just some minutes ago that most of these states, 70% of their revenue goes to recurrent expenditure. So by the time you take 70% for recurrent expenditure,
you have less for capital projects.
Debt service out.
Yeah.
What is left for?
Cannot even do anything for capital projects.
Yeah. So these states, they need to find ways, ingenious ways, to improve IGR. For me, when I was thinking about it, I was like, what is the opportunity cost for FAC? The opportunity cost for FAC is IGR.
Yes.
Because when I know that I always get money every month, why do I need to think out of the box to raise money and generate money through the hard way when I can easily just get money every month?
Every month.
So the opportunity cost for FAC is IGR.
But I think it also boils down to the kind of people that comes out to run for political office. We see people who are successful in the private sector, and they say they want to come and become governor of the state. But at the end of the day, it's garbage in, garbage out, the same scenario. But let's take, for instance, I was reading a report, and they said a state that is likely to also increase their IGR and survive without FAC allocation is Enugu State. As when you go down memory lane, Enugu State has always been the state of power when it comes to the eastern region, and also is more of a civil servant state because government offices and everything. Enugu State stand a very good chance. Why are states not thinking about increasing their, okay, let's put aside the northern states. Let's talk about the southern states. With their level of exposure. Why are they not seeing opportunities to increase their IGR that makes it available for them to take care of their basic responsibilities? And how can we set up structures that can be able to put this government to task so that we can know what they are doing? How do we do this? Let's start from how can they increase their IGR?
Okay, one of the ways you can increase your IGR is by doing PPP projects.
Okay.
And when you do that, you attract investment into your state. When you attract investment into your state, that means more businesses come into your state.
Yeah.
Those businesses have to pay tax.
Yeah.
And the more tax that they pay, the more IGR that you get. Another way to increase IGR is through your infrastructure. You have to create an enabling environment for these businesses to be able to thrive. You have to make sure that there's roads, there's adequate power. There was a bill passed 2 years ago that states can now generate and use their own power. How many states, apart from Abia State, I think, have taken advantage of this? These are ways that you can improve your IGR. At the state government, a lot of this, just as I said, to do this requires a lot of dedication and hard work and discipline. When you give people free money every time, it erodes this. And let's not even go to the area that I personally feel that our political space has been taken over by
charlatans or hoodlums.
Miscreants. That's the truth about it.
So no fresh idea coming through. No idea, because the kind of people we have running the political office.
And again, it is not about one person. Even if myself or yourself get into that position, the people that you are surrounded with most likely will kill your initiative. So there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done.
Wow. In the light of this now, if the federal government cannot say, let's wake up and say, we are no longer sharing FAC allocation. That will lead to probably an uproar and probably turn up of government. Can they ever get to that level?
If it gets to that level, just me and you will need to quickly pack our bags and run out of Nigeria.
Well, it's really interesting what you see there. Let's take a look at some of the things. In the past, when we used to have monarchic system of government, we see how, despite the fact that the basic things they have is agricultural produce, we see how government used to run, how kings used to run their system from tax generation, especially from the western region. The focus has always been on tax generation. From the time of the Obas, the kings and stuff like that. Every government thinks about how to pay tax.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised when Lagos State is also thinking about raising revenue, raising Nigeria through tax.
Yes.
But how come some other states in the southwest have not been able to? Let's take, for instance, Osun State, for instance. They said they received the least amount of FARC allocation. And they said probably one of the poverty-stricken states in the southwest. But over the years, we've seen top people coming in as governor of Osun State. But they have not been able to increase their revenue or even the IGR. Why is it difficult for them? Why have they not been able to do that? Despite the fact the caliber of people on in those places.
Okay, so you have to go back to the genesis of why was Osun State even created? Why was it taken out of
Oyo State?
Was it taken out of Oyo State for economic reasons or for political reasons? The truth about it was that the Osun State leaving Oyo State was more of a political decision than an economic decision. Now, the state has been created. Now, over the years, whoever has been put to handle that state now has to come up with ingenious ideas on how to improve the economy of Osun State, which is not an easy task for anybody to do. For me, anybody that is in Osun State and wants to increase the idea of Osun, one of the areas that sectors you can look at is tourism.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have a lot of tourist sites in Osun State.
In Osun State,
yeah. That's one area that you have to look at to increase tourism in your IGI in Osun State. Also education, with IFE there.
Yeah.
And so many.
So a couple of private universities are springing up there.
Those are the areas you have to look at. But for you to do this again, you need institutions that can support these initiatives. It's not just about you saying one individual.
But we saw former governor of Cross River State came up with the idea of the Obudu Cattle Ranch, the Tinapa project.
Yes.
Really a laudable project, because at that point in time, those successive governments have not been able to continue to rake it big. We witnessed a lot of people coming from outside the shores of Nigeria, coming to Obudu, coming to Tinapa, wanting to be part of it. I know a lot of Americans who came in about 10 years ago, 50 years ago, they want to experience Tinapa, they want to, and that led to increase in revenue generation. Yeah. Unfortunately, some of the government has not been able to do that. And then we continue to have people who are not thinking, and we know the amount of money that are coming. Lagos, we are talking about Dirty December, which is another revenue generation for the Lagos State government. A lot of people coming from outside, wanting to come into Lagos, raising the level of revenue. Governors are not looking at the Obudu Cattle Ranch we talked about. It's more like now a project that is not living up to expectation anymore. Why do we continue to have this kind of people in these offices? And they kind of,
a lot has to do with policy sustainability, stability, and consistency.
Yeah.
Anybody that's coming into government, you don't necessarily have to bring your own policies.
Yeah.
You can look at those ones that are already existing, that are good, and work on it and improve on what is already on ground. But a lot of people, there's this individualistic way of doing governance in Nigeria where everybody wants to put their name on everything and say, oh, I'm the one that did this. I'm the one that did this. So we need to disabuse that. It is more than an individual. That's number one. Another thing is, even when we are doing this project, it's not just about having a project to do. You have to create an economic sustainability impact initiative attached to that project. So that you know that 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years down the line, this project can sustain itself economically without getting government intervention all the time. Most of our projects don't put that into play. And that's why you have it that once the person that brought the idea leaves, the flow of funds to that particular project is gone. But when you have an sustainability plan economically for that project, even whether that person is gone or whether money is not flowing from government, that project sustains itself. And a typical example is Obudu. Obudu should have had that in place. Obudu should have been a PPP project instead of a government project. By now, Obudu has the opportunity and the skill to be able to run by itself. So those are the problems that we face in governance in Nigeria.
Okay.
And that's why most projects just die off by themselves.
Let's take a look at the sustainability model in Lagos State. Look at how successive government has continued to be able to work on that project. We have the blue rail line. We have so many of these lines keep coming up. Would you say the continuity of that party has been able to help to keep that sustainability in place? But in some other states that we also, in the southeastern states where we have also have sustainability of parties in power, is the reverse is not is the case.
Is the case, yes.
How is Lagos State different from other states? Why is it different?
That's a tough question. You know, but a lot of people criticize the APC government in Lagos.
Yeah.
I give them a lot of kudos for them to be able to sustain the plan they had as a way back 2023 till today and follow through on all of those things. You mentioned the blue rail.
Yeah.
The blue rail, the red rail were initiatives that they were written on paper as a way back 2005. And today, 2025, they're still following up on those plans.
Yeah.
There's the waterway with the boats and everything, and they're still following up on them. And you find out, I take particular exception to the water transport system that is happening in Lagos.
Yeah.
You find out it's the PPP project.
Yeah. Recently, they had the Formula 1 race on. Yeah.
So you find out that even if tomorrow, by the time that project becomes well established, it runs on its own. Even if government doesn't. Apart from now, after some years from now, government doesn't even have to give money to that project. That project would now be paying tax to government. And by so doing, that's typical. That's why, as of today, IGR, Lagos State IGR, takes up 61% of the total 36 state IGR.
Yeah.
Our governors need to be more creative.
But how can we construct a system where the system continues to churn out the right people who will take active? You look at what happened in the 60s, in the 50s, when we had the likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, the likes of Tafawa Balewa, Obafemi Awolowo. These are men, but these are men with ideas on how to reposition. But these days, do you still have those crop of people in the system, in a political space?
This question is about inclusion. Politically, a lot of Nigerians are excluded from the political system. I'll use myself and yourself as an example.
Yeah.
Tolu, you have been in this sector for more than 15 years.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody tells you and says, well, look, come and contest. Oh, you want to contest. Let me even say you want to contest for State House of Rep. And they say, show of interest is 50 million naira. And the money you have saved is 50 million naira in your bank account. Are you going to use that 50 million naira to go and buy a form?
Definitely no.
Exactly. So by so doing, a lot of Nigerians that have good intentions, that are capable, are excluded from that system. You will now find out that the people that get into that system are the people that have godfathers, that can mobilize themselves like a group or a cartel and buy a form for one of their cronies to get into that position. So when it gets into that position, what does it do?
It does to the tune of the obedient movement that took over. Is it not possible to also have that kind of situation at state level, where individuals with
around and it's including the same set of people and to the forefront. But
unfortunately, the development cannot match up with the increase in faculty allocation right there, and also the ingenuity on the part of the governor is really nothing to write home about, and that's continue to leave us where we are. The majority of the state government continue to rely on fact calculation, just like Kala said right there. About 70% of the states wait on fact allocation to with the Nigeria Football Federation over building of sports facilities, and Lagos will be shedding light on that. Over to you, Joshua and Yoko.
ITV, certainly the best.
And of course, if you're tuning in, of course, the continuation of your first news or some entertainment programs reaching you live from our network center on the ITV network. My name once again is Joshua Okata, and of course, I have joining me as my co-anchor is Patricia Gabriel. Pat, how are you?
I'm very well, Josh. And let me add my native name. It is Patricia Urumu Gabriel.
Wow. Interesting. Anyway, to go on our program this morning from our Lagos Network Center, our focus will be on the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, who is under investigation, especially on the alleged mismanagement of $25 million grants gotten from FIFA and CAF within the period of 2015 and 2025. Of course, it's interesting to let you know that our area of focus is the Benin Kirby Stadium, which we will be looking in the course of our conversation this morning. And of course, in the building, still joining us is Mr. Obong Thompson, who will be giving us his perspective on this issue. Once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. George.
All right, now let's go into the conversation proper. Of course, we do know that when it comes to grave allegation of this magnitude, especially when it has been established, the burden of proof is on the one who is alleging. But come to look at it, the conduct of the NFF, especially with regards to what is on ground, is something that has had a long history, dating as far back as 2015 till date. What do you think could be the issue about such misconduct when it comes to mismanagement of funds entrusted in their care by the FIFA and, of course, the CAF?
I want to say that the challenges plaguing the Nigerian Football Federation as we speak today is not far-fetched from the same, challenges that Nigeria as a state is also facing. They are facing the issue of transparency, issue of accountability, issue of trust and honesty. And this has eaten deep into the fabric of, every sector of Nigeria. And the people mounting that particular, federation are not from the moon. They are all Nigerians. So it has been, emanated from the corrupt tendencies of Nigerians, if I may say so. And the politicalizing of that particular appointment or of who becomes the head of the NFF also contribute to this, increase and rising, corruption that we found in that body. Because otherwise, Nigerians as a state would have had a political will to put an end to all this, misappropriation and mismanagement of funds. And one thing we also need to understand is that it's only when a Nigerian team, especially the senior football team, is not performing well, that you will likely hear of an issue of probe into what happened in NFF. Every other time, if everything is going on well, nobody bothers. So it's a good thing that the rep, have come up and to probe the funds that have been gotten since 2015 till 2014, 2024 and 2025. What has this money been used for? We want to see. Nigerians are interested. It is high time that the stakeholders in the sports industry begin to ask questions. And, not only just ask questions, we should get to the end and the bottom of all these questions that we ask and make sure that we have tangible results. If any, misappropriation is found or anyone is found wanting, those found wanted should be prosecuted, by the Nigerian authority and the security apparatus.
You said tangible results, yes, that's what we want to see in this investigation. So do you think the committee can ensure transparency and avoid political interference in the investigation?
Certainly. What it takes is to make sure that, they put the interests of the Nigerian Football Federation or the sporting body in Nigeria at first. Because sport is a medium of development, and it also, engages the youth. And the government, if they understand the importance of this, federation, they will be able to know that if they position the Nigerian Football Federation properly, then things will flow in the sport arena as regard football. So if they have imbibed this, this consciousness in them, they will understand that the cardinal role that they have to investigate the misuse of these funds is of very utmost importance to Nigerians as a whole. So the reps, without any bias or any political interference from any quarter, should go head on to probe and let us see what emanated. We talk about $802 million.
$802,000.
And we also talk about $1.1 million. These are not mere money. These are monies that, can, fund a whole state. So we should look at this very
All right,
critically.
now let's look at the issue of, transparent investigation. Like my colleague once said, she asked a question, do you think that any transparent investigation can come out of this? Now, let me take you back, because this has had a long history, just as I said earlier. The House of Reps member, Adebayo Adeshola, also cited that in December 2016, FIFA also queried the NFF over its poor handling of the $1.1 million that was given to them as grants, which part of that 1.1 million, $802,000 was poorly accounted for. So we had the Minister of Sport at the time, Solomon Dalong, who called for an independent investigation, an independent audit as regards how that money was expended. Up till this moment, what would you say was the outcome? Were those who were indicted for mismanaging those funds dealt with?
Well, according to records, I doubt if there has been any, public, data to show that various people were indicted, in such cases. So this has been the prevailing condition that Nigeria has found itself, and the sporting body has found itself, since 1999. There has been cases upon cases of probe, but what has come out from it, so there is no record to show that the NFF champ then along. You find out that by the time, these investigations are being carried out and the result or outcome is about to be pronounced, most of these head of NFF have been removed or are being changed, or in one thing or the other. So there has not been continuity, But I suggest that the successive chairman are supposed to revisit such cases to make sure that there is continuity in investigation, and the outcome of the investigation and subsequent probe should be carried out. But as we speak, to say, a few that I know, there has not been anyone indicted so far, of such a mismanagement of funds.
Now, you said something earlier where you said the issue that we're having in the Nigerian Football Federation is not far-fetched, given what we have seen, especially with public office holders at state and federal level, where misappropriation or mismanagement of funds have been, established and nothing happened. So we are likely not to see anything coming out of this. Is this a case of, my question now is this, is this a case of when the head is rotting, nothing good can come out of the rest part of the body, especially looking at it from the level of the presidency, down to other ministries, agencies, and parastatals of government, when it comes to poor handling of public funds, accountability, and transparency?
Yeah, I had earlier said that, the situation plaguing the Football Federation, is not very far, or is not a departure from the political scene that we experience. Because most Nigerian Football Federation chairman, the position has been politicized in such that, before any of them becomes the chairman of NFF, they are being favored by one government official or the other. So I believe there has been a complicity or, a cover-up in the probe. And, that does not allow the probe to see the light of the day. Because in the absence of that, we have independent investigation commission like ICPC and the EFC people of interest.
Yeah.
So the NFA body, those that have been heading, as long as I know, have been given political settlements, to head that body. And as a result, I doubt if there's anything good, that will come out from it, from any investigation, because they are all politicizing the position of the NFA. Otherwise, what stopped that long, from seeing to the end of the probe? And then we have Bolaji Abdullahi that later came in, right? As the NFF chairman. What did he do? And then we have Ibrahim Guzu now. So why are all these people silent?
But don't you think that because we've seen in cases in time past where an individual in a certain ministry is trying to fight corruption, but the reverse is always the case when corruption is fighting back. Do you think that that would have, led to us not seeing to the end of that probe where corruption is fighting back?
Yeah, corruption will fight back, no doubt. But the temerity of every office, leadership has to be showcased in situations like that, because appointments or electoral elections, once you are elected as a leader in such a position, it's not taken. You shouldn't take the election or your appointment for granted. So you are there to serve the interests of the people. You are there to serve the interests of the nation. So what needs to be done in the area of accountability, transparency, you must follow through to make sure that there's accountability, no matter whose hoax is hoax, so that we know that whether the low or mighty that misappropriate the funds of the NFA or the country, the person is brought to book, no matter who he is, how mighty or how low the person may be. So it still boils down to the head of the NFF. We have Ibrahim Guzu now. So what stopped this particular NFF chairman from taking the bull by the horn to see that the probe is being carried out in his tenure and is being successful, and there are people that has to be indicted. There must be people has to be answerable, to all this misappropriation, whether past or present.
But you heard recently, without even taking it out of context, we heard recently as alleged where the administrator in Rivers State said he's only accountable to the president and not to the people of Rivers State. So do you think that in this case, such things could also play out, especially at the level of the Ministry of Sport?
Yeah, I so believe it's supposed, it's not supposed to be so.
Yeah.
Because you have been sent, like the case of Rivers State, you have been sent to serve the people of Rivers State. So you have to be accountable to the people of Rivers State, not the president. And then if you have been given a role as NFF chairman, you have to be accountable to the football governing body and the stakeholders in that body, that institution. So I don't seem to understand why, because you have been, favored by the president, then you will not be able to do the right thing. For Nigerians, you will not be transparent, you will not be accountable.
About accountability, we've just been hammering on accountability. And then I want to ask you this question, maybe questions. Do you believe that this investigation will finally bring accountability to the Nigeria Football Administration? And also, do you think this probe will affect Nigeria's relationship with FIFA and CAF?
Well, the relationship that we're talking about with FIFA and CAF, will be affected because we understand that no institution, FIFA knows how they generate their revenue, and they have to send aids to various federation bodies, and so they expect this aids being sent to be properly utilized for the purpose, for the development of sport in various countries, because they are also development partners, and they want to see countries grow. They want to see, football, being taken as one of the best games in the world. As we speak, we are supposed to be having principal cups organized by the NFF and various sporting activities, building of infrastructures, so from the aids and the money being given to the NFF and various, sport bodies, they are to use for development and not for them to be squandered within themselves or among themselves.
All right, now
so
let's
it will really affect,
the
and
relationship.
in the relationship and in the issue of, setting standards. I think for once the rep should be able to set a standard by seeing through that the probe gone smoothly and people are indicted, and if anyone is found one thing, then punitive measures has to be meted upon them, so that this will serve as deterrent to other the corrupt office holders.
All right, now
Yes.
we'll be talking about the Benin Kirby Stadium in perspective now, and that will be, of course, shortly after this time out. Please do stay with us.
ITV, 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 certainly the best.
Many thanks for staying with us. And of course, we've been having a conversation around the NFF, who's under investigation by the House of Reps over $25 million grants given to them by FIFA and CAF. And of course, our guest in the person of Ubon Thompson have been given perspective when it comes to accountability, transparency, and of course, instilling public trust when it comes to the appropriation of fund. Now let's look at the Benin Kirby Stadium in perspective. It's also interesting to note that such facility is under the management of the Nigerian Football Federation. So now let's look at the issue at hand. The rep in the person of Adebayo Adeshola also have alleged that $1.2 million was appropriated for the construction of Benin Kirby Stadium. And of course, the issue at hand is that the facility is substandard. And of course, the money appropriated for it was not spent to get what they actually want. Talking about the issue of appropriation of funding and not being utilized for the particular purpose for which it was set out for. How did we get here?
Well, we keep talking about the issue of Nigerian as a people. Talk about the Benin Stadium, the Benin Kebbi Stadium, which FIFA, released a whooping $1.2 million, into the project. And
I think it's on the screen now.
Yeah.
Do you think this is worth $1.2 million?
Not even, FIFA, as in their official social media page, they posted this stadium and they said this doesn't even worth $270 million stadium as we speak. So this is very, very unfortunate, and very discouraging. And I know we're talking about the relationship this might have to do with FIFA, because if it is something that is tangible like this, that FIFA can see, can carry out the costing, can carry out the vetting, scrutinize this project, and they have come out to say that this is doesn't worth the money doesn't worth the money that was released, for this project. So it's very, very unfortunate that in Nigeria this is happening.
At this point, should the House of Reps not call those who were saddled with the responsibility of constructing this facility at this point?
Certainly, we have the contractors, and though I'm not handy with the contracting firm,
yes,
but we know there are some, there must be a committee,
yes,
saddled with the responsibility to foresee the construction of that stadium, in Nigeria. So such members of that committee, which is to be headed by the NFF chairman, which I suggest should be the head of that committee, should be summoned by the Nigerian House of Representatives, to give an account of what emanated in the process of constructing of this stadium, because this doesn't even show, a primary school or secondary school pitch, school, football pitch, talk less of a national monument like that the stadium should take after.
Now that we're having the African Cup of Nations just by the corner and the World Cup, what would you say about taking punitive measures immediately? Because the lawmaker has already said that it is high time we begin to make decisive action or take decisive action on this matter. Are you in support of what you just said?
Punitive measures should not, go beyond or be lesser than the recovery of the funds.
Because in China, as we speak, when it comes to embezzlement or misappropriation of public funds, sometimes it's usually death sentence. So are you saying that we should
so when we recover the funds, what do you want to do with the funds?
The funds has to be recovered, because the funds have been stolen as it stands now. The funds are being stolen because it does not indicate that the money released there's anything to compare this structure with. So first of all, the funds has to be traced where they went to and be recovered. And I believe the ICPC and the EFCC has to, spring into action, and see how to recover these funds from all the, conspirators of such a, project, because I believe the NFF might have conspired with the contracting firm to rip off of that funds. So those funds has to be recovered, as the first step, as the first thing to be done before pronouncement of punitive measures, meted upon all these gladiators, because I believe it's not a one man, it's not one man that is able to do all this. So all the people involved has to be brought to book, to give account of this.
Now, with all of these that have happened from 2015 till date, What do you think in terms of the effect it's having, especially with the declining of our football, federation?
Certainly, it has a very tremendous effect because, number one, every sporting activities require funding, and by the time these funds end up in the pocket of the pocket of the few of the NFF or the sport department or sport organization, then there's nothing left for the funding in the actual sense to be done. So you see situation where they complain of, for instance, during the sports festival, you find out that many states that participated, in those sport festival, their sportsmen were complaining that they weren't funding, and they weren't funding for accessories and payments of allowances. So
I think we're pressed for time.
These are the problem.
But my co-anchor here just have a question to throw at you. At least you just have to answer that in less than 30 seconds.
Yes, we're very pressed for time. But so many people say corruption crippled our football development. Is this true?
Well, it's still the same question I've just given an answer to. Is very, very key. It does. It does, because as we speak, we cannot testify of. Just look at the National Stadium in Lagos. After so many successive governments have budgeted funds for the renovation and revival of that sporting facility, nothing has been done. So where has the money gone to?
Thank you very much.
It has been corruptly, taken away by corrupt politicians.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ubon Thompson, for giving us your perspective on this matter. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, George.
All right, Patricia, you have something to say before we wrap up?
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Patricia.
All right, we'll come your way tomorrow. Of course, the program continues as we'll be handing you over now to our Benin Network studio for the rest of the program. To stay.
The news update at 9:30. My name is Evan Sudokogi. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Blessing Agbibako, has expressed a deep disappointment and a condemnation over a violent attack that occurred in Owan West local government area. Assembly correspondent Joy Baisa will report that the House also passed 2 significant bills into law during plenary. Moving on now, the state government has given a former deputy governor, Mr. Marvelous Mobayo, 1 week deadline to return all government assets still in his possession. In a statement issued by the chief press secretary to the government expressed a disappointment that Mr. Mobayo has yet to surrender several official items, including vehicles, documents, and other state-owned assets, despite repeated formal reminders following his exit from office, reiterating that all assets acquired or used in the course of public service remained state property. The government described the continued retention of such items as a breach of public trust and unlawful possession of state assets. The government warned that failure to comply with a result in the Commissioner of Police being instructed to arrest him and recover the asset through lawful means. And moving on now, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, has commended Edo Queens Football Club for emerging third in the just concluded governorship tournament, which took place in Bayelsa State. Right Honorable Idahosa made the commendation when he received the third place trophy for the club in Government House in Benin City. Deborah Ogbefun has the details.
Edo Queens Football Club emerged third at the just concluded maiden Governor Doyindiri pre-season women football tournament held at the Samson Siasia Sports Complex in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, with over 10 female football clubs participating in the competition, in which Nasarawa and Bayelsa States clinched the first and second positions. Edo Queens came third. Receiving the trophy from the team, Right Honorable Ida Hosa showered praises on the female footballers for their outstanding performance at the game. He said Edo government is committed to developing sporting activities in the state.
On behalf of my principal, the Executive Governor of Edo State, I want to congratulate Edo Queens. You have always made us proud for all your contribution, all your support, and the incitement that you have given to Edo people through sport. And most especially, I want to thank the head coach. You have been a fantastic and outstanding coach to Edo Queens. And next time we get involved in such competition, we want to encourage you to take the first position.
Speaking on behalf of the team, the chairman, Edo Sports Commission, Desmond Inabulele, thanks the state government for supporting sports development.
What we went for in Bayelsa is just a pre-season to test the players. You know, at the beginning of every season, you bring in new players. It's a time to just know the players that you have, a time to blend them. So far, Team Edo did very well. Team Edo is the only team in the competition that did not conceive a single goal.
The Governor Doyindiri's Women's Pre-Season Tournament, which held between 19th and 26th of October in Bayelsa State, not only highlights the discovery of talent and competitiveness in Nigeria women's football, but also serves as a platform for team preparation ahead of the new season. From Government House, Benin, Deborah Ogbefun, ITV News.
Practical life-saving skills, a response to cardiac arrest and choking emergencies form part of deliberations during a one-day training organized by the Nigerian Medical Association Edo State Branch in collaboration with the Blue Light Emergency Service. Ibrahim Adedeji reports that the event held in Doctor's House of Benin City is in collaboration between the organization in taking a bold step towards strengthening emergency care response through a basic life support training for caregivers. The report is presented by Oluwakbelumi Abioye.
Chairman Nigeria Medical Association Edo State Branch, Dr. Istes Osegale, said what inspired the collaboration with Blue Light Emergency Service is for strengthening emergency and first aid services through a basic life support training. He said the organization's goal is to build a community of first responders made up of ordinary people with the right skills to stabilize patients before they are taken to the hospital. Secretary Nigeria Medical Association, Dr. Iluobe Inegbenosun, talked about the importance of basic life support training for both medical and non-medical personnel.
We want to improve pre-hospital care. We want a lot of people to be able to provide the kind of care that will be provided abroad in an emergency setup.
It's not advisable to do a month to month. I don't think Amaka should provide so much safety for you. So better still use a pocket face mask or use a barrier mask or use a BVM. But for a BVM, we use what we call the EC clampot technique to deliver what? Oxygen.
The trainees who participated in the training highlighted different important life-saving skills they learned during the training. One of the trainees said they were taught how to respond to someone who happened to collapse and what to do to revive the person.
We've been taught how to react during emergency. When somebody collapses, the first thing to do.
I've actually learned a lot, and I would say the choking part is really some things that I guess I learned that it was a correct way. Yeah.
This training was very, very impactful, and in the long run is going to broaden my knowledge. It's something everyone should have.
For the organizers, initiatives like this will not only save lives, but also strengthening the culture of safety and emergency preparedness within home and communities. From Benin, Oluwakbelumi Abioye, ITV News.
The Lumen Christi Old Boys Student Association, Lukosa, has organized a special Thanksgiving and reception in honor of one of their own. The Edo State Commissioner for Energy, Barrister Paul Usembo, The event began with a Thanksgiving service at St. Joseph Catholic Church located at Uwa Junction off First East Circular Road in Benin City, and drew members of Lukosa from within Edo State and across the diaspora. Wellington Akodija reports.
It was a moment of gratitude and celebration as members of the Lume Christi Old Students Association gathered to thank God for the appointment of Barrister Paul Usembo as the Commissioner for Power in Edo State. In his homily, the visiting priest, Reverend Father David Ogu, congratulated the Commissioner on his appointment and urged the congregation to put their trust in God in all life's challenges.
May God bless your tenure. May God protect you in your tenure. May you find favor with your bosses.
Following the church service, members of Lukosa hosted a grand reception in honor of Barrister Usembo at the Protea Hotel, GRA Benin City, where guests were treated to exquisite meals, fine drinks, and lively entertainment. The president of Lukosa, Chief Tusan Aiboni, and a member, Barrister Pascal Ogbume, described the commissioner as a man of integrity and excellence, a true ambassador of Lume Christi.
It's a great day for us, and we've all come to celebrate with our alumni, Barrister Paul Usembo, on his appointment.
It tells a lot about how that the governor believes in his capacity and ability.
An elated Barrister Paul Usembo expressed heartfelt appreciation to the association for their show of love and solidarity.
I am indeed very humbled, and I give all glory to God. The integrity, the dedication to service, which we were all brought up and trained while in school, has come to play.
Thank you so much. You have shown that Lukosa Lume Christi is located in Esaland.
From Benin, Wellington Akodija, ITV News.
Moving on now, as prices of foodstuff in markets in Kaduna State crashed, farmers lament over the huge losses incurred despite investigating massively on their farms. Kaduna correspondent Nma Mohammed reports that farmers decried the policy of the federal government to import grains, saying it does not augur well for the nation's economy.
Against the backdrop of the hardship caused by skyrocketing of prices of foodstuffs in the market, the federal government ordered reopening of some borders and importation of grains as part of efforts to ameliorate the suffering of the populace. However, the policy does not go down well with farmers in Kaduna State, as they describe the importation of grains by the federal government as a wrong policy that may ruin the crusade to make the nation self-sufficient in food production. According to some of the respondents, they invested heavily in procuring fertilizer and other agro inputs at high cost, only to sell their food crops at lower prices, saying they have to sell lower than what they spent in purchasing fertilizer and other agro inputs. The Sarkin Kaswa of Pambigwa Market and its secretary comment on how the crash in prices of foodstuff is having negative effects on the economy and farmers.
Da za a sayi hatsi a hannun manoma to ya fi a siyo a ƙasan turai.
Manoma za su ji daɗi jaɗin jin ƙarfin gwiwar noma abin da ƙasar nan za ta dogara da kanta.
An Ikara-based clergyman, Bishop Yusuf Ishaya of Ikara Diocese, and a farmer expressed the same sentiment, saying it is an unhealthy development.
Yes, food is now, the cost is minimal, but economy around the farmers is crumbling, and people are now like regretting, because those who invested on farming, now they cannot get even half of what they invested. Why? Because of the commodities out there.
From Kaduna, Ma Mohammed, ITV News.
Away from that now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared Anambra State fully prepared for the upcoming governorship election scheduled for November 8, 2025. The announcements followed a week-long readiness assessment tour conducted by a high-level delegation from the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. The delegation, led by National Commissioner for Election Planning and Monitoring, Rhoda Gumos, completed an extensive review of facilities, logistics, and security arrangements across other states. In the meantime, INEC CRO has extended the ongoing collection of permanent voters' cards in Anambra State. The decision followed appeals from citizens and stakeholders seeking more time for eligible voters to collect their cards ahead of the November 8, 2025 governorship election. The West African Examination Council has dismissed a report claiming it issued a directive limiting senior secondary students to a specific subject for the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination for school certificates. In a statement on Tuesday, Acting Head of Public Affairs, Moyo Shola Additional, signing on behalf of the Head of National Office, described the reports as unfounded assumptions and urged schools and public to disregard them. Amid circulating social media claims or suggesting schools had been told to restrict students' subject combinations, WAEC reiterated that such claims were false and not issued by the Council. The Council clarified that it does not dictate the development or modification of senior secondary curricula, noting that this responsibility lies with the federal government and relevant education authorities. And with that story now, we're in the news update at 9:30. Don't forget to join us at 12 o'clock for the world news. My name is Evan Sudokuge. The rest of the program this morning on ITV continues.
Certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Good morning and welcome to TMR Socials. I am Stephanie Notoriwa, and here's what's making wave across social media. Protest is going on across Cameroon following the 92-year-old president Paul Biya, who had ruled the country for over 42 years, has allegedly rigged yet another presidential election. According to reports circulating online, the long-term leader has declared himself president for an unprecedented 8th time, sparking outrage and mass demonstration in several cities. Video shared online shows large crowd marching through the street, chanting and calling for change. Many citizens say they are frustrated by decades of economic hardship, political repression, and a lack of democratic transition. Observers describe the protest as one of the largest public uprisings in recent years, with demonstrators demanding transparency and accountability in governance. Meanwhile, the Cameroonian government is yet to issue an official statement on the ongoing arrest. Let's get to see the video of this protest. And of course, the internet has been buzzing. So let's get to see some of this comment. This one said, 42 years in power and still rigging election. At this point, it is not leadership. It is hostage situation. The people of Cameroon deserve better. Let's get to see the next comment. The people of Cameroon are saying enough is enough. Democracy must mean more than recycled power. Let's get to see the next comment. This one said, a long overdue awakening. I was beginning to wonder when Cameroonians would finally say enough is enough. 42 years of recycled promises and political sleepwalking. At some point, the people have to reclaim their own tomorrow. Let's get to see the next comment. If not madness, an old man who wants to be the life president ruled all these years without any meaningful development, growth and progress in the country. Let the people resist. This is the last comment as regards this issue. It says, time to take it up yourself, Cameroonians, and save your future. They will shoot at you. They will try to intimidate you. Some will have to give their lives, but at the end, victory is sure. This is long overdue. Africa must be liberated from neo-colonialism. Moving on, a video on X circulating online that a young girl in Nigerian banking hall who allegedly swapped an elderly man's ATM card with a fake one while pretending to assist him. According to reports, she has then attempted to withdraw cash at the nearby ATM. Fortunately, the elderly man noticed the switch in time and alerted bank staff, which led to apprehension by security officers amid growing crowd of onlookers who urged restraint. The incident, which was captured on a video and widely shared on X, formerly Twitter, has sparked heated conversation across social media. The video highlighted the growing issue of ATM fraud regarding vulnerable individuals, especially the elderly. Many users have also pointed out that gender bias in public reaction, as some comments online appear to downplay the woman's action, while others call the swift police intervention. Let's get to see the video of this incident.
Raise up your head. But it's okay. I bet wait till she do. I bet wait till she do. Swap people card. When they withdraw their money. Yes. Raise up your head. You are mad. Don't be that. Don't be that. You are mad. You are mad. Yes. Raise up your head. Yes. You are mad. Fine girl like you. You are mad. You are mad. Fine girl like you. Look here. Look here. See this girl, old lady.
And of course, some Nigerians have diverse opinion as regard this issue. Let's get to see some of this comment. This one says, yes, na thief, but unpopular opinion, they had no right to hold her hands or force her to look to the camera. The policeman had no right to threaten her with a gun to look at the camera. They should have rather taken her to the police station immediately. Like I said, unpopular opinion. Let's get to see the next comment. This one said, I so much hate the way we do our things here in Nigeria. She has been caught already. Police are at the scene already and she's not trying to run or harm anyone. So all those shouting and initial gra-gra they were doing is not really necessary. Just meet her and take her to the station. If now one corporate politicians now, them for outside, these will start to be hidden. Let's get to see the next comment. Now, wow, you people, if na man, by now they would have disfigured his face, give him unforgettable marks. Now they didn't beat the girl, just to face camera for her to realize what she does was not good. How do you want them to handle this again? Let's get to see the last comment. Africans are too funny. Guilty as she may be, they would never treat the politicians who do this and much worse in a similar manner. And lastly, on TMI socials, on October 28, 2025, members of the Nigerian House of Representatives disclosed intelligence reports indicating terrorists plan to bomb the National Assembly complex in Abuja during the public hearing on a bill for dedicated legislative security directorate. Chairman Gaba Ibrahim Muhammad highlighted vulnerability from unchecked access and protesters that could disrupt legislative function and threaten national stability. Lawmakers called for immediate security enhancement to protect democratic processes amidst the escalating insecurity across the country. Let's get to see some comments as regards this issue. This one says, Nigerians will rise in joy and jubilations if terrorists start targeting politicians and contractors that execute bad contracts are being bombed. We will even nominate them for Nobel Prize. Let's get to see the last comment. This one said, the lawmakers are demarcating Nigeria. The president should caution them against the use such inflammatory languages henceforth, and the town criers, Bayo, should debunk the allegation immediately. Nigeria is safe. Akpabio has been advocating for diaspora return home because prices of rice and gari has come down. They should come and eat gari. And that's the size of our package on today's edition of TMI Social. And with me, I have Evan Sonokoge to share more light on the story shared.
All right, thank you so much, Stephanie. So that's the program today. But quickly before we go, I just want to talk on the issue in Cameroon, whereby Paul Biya retained the presidential race there. Now, Paul Biya, 92 years old, so I don't know, I don't
Imagine
know.
really for 42 years.
It's 92 years, so he's going to be there for the first 4 years and another 4 years. That's another 8 years. So 92 plus 8, that's going to be 100 plus. So by the time he eventually completes the 8-year tenure that he has begun. So that's the kind of politics that we have in Africa. Anyway, we'll keep on following the issues as it develops, and so that we can update you on what is going on in Cameroon. So that on that note, now we'll wrap up the program today, this morning on ITV. On behalf of my co-anchors in Lagos and Abuja, my name is Evan Sunokuge. Goodbye and God bless you.
TV, certainly